Good evening. The vote to determine the sufficiency and substance of the two impeachment complaints against President Bongbong Marcos will be held on Wednesday, February 4. At the House Committee on Justice's hearing on Tuesday, February 3, Committee Vice Chairperson Mauricio Domogan moved to vote on the matter of determining sufficiency and substance on the impeachment complaint filed by lawyer Andre De Jesus. But Committee Chairperson Jervy Luistro says the panel will tackle sufficiency and substance once the committee finishes discussing the Makabayan Coalition's complaint. Luistro says she received a request to vote on De Jesus' complaint on their succeeding meeting set for Wednesday. According to Luistro, delaying the vote for one more day will give members the time to study the arguments raised in De Jesus' complaint.
The reason is to give time to the members of the committee to ponder, decipher, evaluate all the comments and opinions we've heard today. So, if all the members are amenable to that, we will be voting on this tomorrow afternoon after we are done with our deliberation on the sufficiency of substance of the Massa et al. Complaint.
Luistro then apologizes to the complainants from Makabayan and their endorsers as they had to wait for their turn to defend their petition, only for the hearing to be deferred due to lengthy discussions. At the start of the hearing, Luistro moved to discuss the first ground in De Jesus' complaint, but Bicol Saro Party List Representative Terry Redon said that determining the authenticity of the complaint's attachments should come first and be included as a criterion in determining the rap's sufficiency and substance. The first ground in De Jesus' complaint was an allegation that Marcos ordered and enabled the kidnapping of former President Rodrigo Duterte to the International Criminal Court. However, this sparked lengthy discussions as Makabayan Bloc Lawmakers, ACT Teachers Party List Representative Antonio Tino and Kabataan Party List Representative Rene Co countered Redon. They both noted that these discussions can be done during the hearing proper. President Bongbong Marcos says the fate of the Independent Commission for Infrastructure rests with the body itself, citing its independent nature. In a briefing on Tuesday, February 3, Palace Press Officer Claire Castro cites a discussion with Marcos regarding the future of the ICI. According to Castro, Marcos is leaving it up to the ICI to decide the next steps.
Kung ano po ang magiging desisyon ng ICI, yun po ang maaari maging tugon ng Pangulo. Kung kinakailangan nila ng tulong sa executive, ibibigay po. Pero kung ano po ang magiging destiny ng ICI, kung ano ang magiging susunod na magalaw nila, yan po ay pinauubaya ng Pangulo sa ICI bilang independent commission.
Castro was then asked how the ICI could reach such a decision given that it lacks commissioners. Only the retired Supreme Court Associate Justice Andres Reyes Jr. remains as its sole commissioner. According to Castro, the matter is still up to the body. Asked to clarify whether the decision to dissolve also rests with the ICI, Castro responds in the affirmative. If the ICI intends to appoint more commissioners to fulfill its mandate, Castro says the commission must discuss the matter directly with Marcos. While the commission may submit its suggestions to the president, Castro says that there is no information on whether it has submitted any report. She says the last report Marcos received concerned the resignation of former commissioners, namely former Public Works Secretary Babe Singson and Rosana Fajardo.
Kasi po, ngayon po, ayaw po talaga makialam ng Pangulo sa ginagawa ng ICI kasi independent body po sila. Kung ano man po ang kanilang suwestyon, maaari po nila ito ibigay sa Pangulo. Sa ngayon, kasalukuyan ay wala pa po tayo nalalaman kung nakapagbigay na sila ng report. So, siguro po mas maganda kung makakapagbigay sila ng complete report patungkol sa kanilang mga natapos para po mapag-usapan kung ano po talaga ang gusto ng ICI.
The National Capital Region Police Office says Police Senior Master Sergeant Dayan Mollenido and her son John Ismael were allegedly killed when the suspects attempted to scam them with a supposed car deal. In a press briefing on Tuesday, February 3, NCRPO Director Major General Anthony Aberin says the suspect Katrina Chua Panganiban or Pia offered Mollenido a Montero last December, but it turned out that the vehicle was non-existent. According to Abirin, Mollenido paid Panganiban a down payment of 550,000 pesos on December 18, 2025.
To complete the transaction, para mabayaran niya, bebenta niya yung Innova niya para makumpleto yung payment. At ang ahente ulit si Pia. And yun nga po, noong January 16, may buyer na po sila sa Innova. At nagkabayaran po sa loob mismo ng kanilang bahay. It turned out, non-existent po pala yung Montero. So, pwede nating isipin na siguro nagalit siguro. So, yun ang tinitignan natin na isa sa mga dahilan siguro bakit binarel.
Vic Remulla pointed to Panganiban and her husband dismissed police officer Christian Panganiban as the primary suspects in the killing. Mollenido and her son were last seen alive at Panganiban's home in Novaliches, Quezon City on January 16. The police officer was found dead in a creek in Bulacan province on January 24. Meanwhile, her son was found dead in a grassy area in a Calamansi farm in Tarlac province on January 29. Police found that Mollenido and her son had gone to the Panganiban's home to sell the former's vehicle and to complete a payment for a new car. According to Remulla, the suspects allegedly shot Mollenido in the head while they supposedly covered her son's head with a plastic bag and he died of suffocation. Police also say Pia submitted a sworn statement to police investigators identifying Mollenido's husband, Police Senior Master Sergeant John Mollenido, as a suspect in the case. John Mollenido's lawyer maintains his client's innocence. Senate President Pro Tempore Ping Lacson discloses an alleged foiled attempt to entice Senator Legarda with the Senate presidency. In a social media post on Tuesday, February 3, Lacson says coup plotters failed to convince Legarda. He says they eventually turned the table on her and claimed she volunteered to help them gather support. Lacson calls this false narrative against Legarda malicious and sadistic. Senate President Tito Sotto confirms getting the same information that his position had been dangled to Legarda. According to Sotto, Legarda was supposedly approached by minority senators, citing information he received. On Monday, February 2, Senate Minority Leader Alan Peter Cayetano already admitted that there have been discussions about the direction of the Senate leadership. He said they didn't have the 13 votes needed to change the current leadership in the Senate. Cayetano said it was no secret that those in the minority group would always want to become the new majority. Meanwhile, Sotto surmised that his being strict with budget insertions could have been a source of discontent among some senators. He also cited changes in committee chairmanships as another possible reason. And these are the stories you need to know today. I'm Neil Mercado. Follow INQUIRER.net on Facebook, X, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Red. For more stories, visit INQUIRER.net. Good evening.